And let's go back to our earlier story. Arguably, the biggest health story in the country at the moment is that Ghana has taken delivery of some 600,000 doses of COVID vaccines. My colleague who was at that ceremony, I know there's been a lot of reaction on social media about whether that was necessary. We're not going into the details of that. So what next, Manuel? You just came back from the airport. Once we took delivery of the doses, what happened next?
Well, so at the airport, we saw the vaccines being wheeled into temporary cold storage facilities, which are now transporting and should have been transported already into some cold storage facilities across the country. In fact, we are told that they are being activated in all 260 MMDAs across the country. But with the 600,000, the first batch, 600,000 doses of the vaccines that have come being held here for onward deployment to health facilities on March 2.
So after they've arrived at these MMDs you mentioned, and obviously the health facilities that will be conducting or administering the vaccines, how do people access it? One, we know it's for free, we've been told that, but what are the processes involved?
So the head of the enhanced immunization program at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kwame Mponsachiano, mentioned that what we're doing in Ghana is a campaign vaccination rollout, not, for instance, what you have in the US and other areas where people are actually going to vaccination points to take the jabs in their vehicles, drive through, vaccinations and so on and so forth. In Ghana, there are about some 12,500 vaccinators who are being engaged to go around, and so they'll be going into the population to vaccinate the target groups that have been, as it were, isolated for the very first phase of the vaccination rollout.
Okay, so you've mentioned that definitely won't be like what we see in the US. And so have we been told how someone will identify themselves? We've been told 60 years and above. We've been told persons in frontline health workers. So how do you identify yourself? I'm asking this question because there was an interesting incident in the US where some ladies actually dressed as old women and went through the drive-through. It was when they were going for the second shot that they were actually caught red-handed. So how do people identify themselves? And
so these are the fine details that we are waiting for from the Ministry of Health and also from the Ministry of Information, because it's been running point on the risk communication of the coronavirus in the country. What we know is that, just like you're mentioning, the frontline health workers, frontline security personnel, we also know some frontline government officials, i.e. those in executive, those in the legislature and then in the judiciary also are being targeted for the rollout. And so we're waiting for the very specifics on how a person, for instance, a potential, vaccinee will identify him or herself as being a frontline health worker or a frontline security personnel or a media practitioner and so on and so forth. These are fine details that we believe that the Ghana Health Service will be releasing in no time at all.
Manuel Kranting is my colleague, and he was at that event to receive the first batch of COVID vaccines that arrived a while ago in Ghana. And we've seen a lot of tweets, a lot of reactions to this on social media. And we've also tried to help with some education, especially on the myths and the concerns about safety of the virus. And that's just one last thing you'd like to share?
It's good to, I think that is quite important to mention that the rollout will be staggered, and starting from the Greater Accra Metro, with some parts in Kaswa, were told by the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Sidu Bekwin, some part of the Wutu Senya East areas in the central region. We also know that in the Greater Kumasi Metro and Obuasi municipality, these are the sort of focal points for the first phase of the rollout. So from 2nd of March 2021, these areas should be expecting to receive the vaccines.
It must be an exciting moment for a lot of Ghanaians, as it was for many other people in different parts of the world. Thank you so much, Manuel Kranting.